Yo, what is up, y'all? No, I'm not MMA guru. Yes, I have a damn beanie on, and it's because my hair is getting crazy. I may just have to get a haircut, but I don't really want to. Also, this video, I know I usually I just said it with my UFC Oliveira versus Gamrot video where I said that it takes me a little bit to make these videos. So yeah, instead of making the video, these reviews that come out, an hour or 2 hours after the whole card starts, just because it's super duper late. I'm going to start doing these reviews just, whenever I get up and I'm able to rewatch these damn fights. Because yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to get the chance to rewatch these fights, so it was about 11 or 12. So, anyways, though, UFC Dana White Contender Series Week 10 season finale, the best season finale of 2025 out of any, because this is a show. I don't give a fuck. Just amazing. Real quick before we even get into this fight, this was just, this whole card. This was an insane season. My first ever season that I've got to, really watch. I did watch a little bit of the Contender Series last year. But this season, man, I am just, I'm grateful to have watched every single, even week one. Week one was dog shit, but I still feel like that doesn't even take away from how great this season was. And especially the season finale, which there was only one bad fight that I'm going to get into, and I am not even going to talk about. I'm just going to rant. But, yeah, man, Dana White Contender Series, Guru tweeted about it saying that we need this 2 times a year. I completely agree. We need like a revolution, you know what I'm saying? Or just something to get rid of the Ultimate Fighter. Nothing against the Ultimate Fighter, of course. I love the Ultimate Fighter. Love the Ultimate Fighter back then when it actually had like stars and meaning and like, character to it. Now it just kind of seems like a filler show to just watch some fights. When in all, this is the filler show, which this isn't even a filler show, but this is to like fill in the UFC cards that suck ass, because then you have fights to look forward to. Because these fights, like I said, man, there is no other cards, like UFC card wise, or anything that the UFC is producing, where you are going to get back to back to back to back finishes. Just, it gets annoying, like it does, because you're like, damn, these guys do get like finishes a lot. But overall, man, like it is just such an entertaining experience, because most of the finishes you get in these fights are so creative. This first fight right here that we're going to get into, which let's just start the card off right now. First fight, Mario Minyang versus Wes Schultz. I had Wes Schultz going into this fight. Didn't really know much about him. I just knew he had a Contender Series fight last season, or whenever he did have a chance to fight in the Contender Series. This was his second chance. I had Wes Schultz mainly because of the CTE, just how he looked, the lisp, just goofy guy, all business too. Same thing with Mario, but going into this fight, it was very just, in my opinion, kind of awkward. Starts off very, very fast. Wes Schultz manages to get a, overhand lead hook on Mario throughout the fight, dropping him really, really bad. Wes Schultz starts to go for a, or he doesn't start to go for anything, but he starts going for some ground and pound shots. Mario manages to get back up. Wes does good in getting a body lock, trying to get Mario to the ground, which he does. Mario does well in using his butterflies and trying to reverse the position. Doesn't work though, because he doesn't have enough room. He's against the cage. He tries to get a back take on Wes. Wes manages to reverse position. Lands some ground and pound shots. Mario is able to get back up. Wes then gets another back body lock, this time on the back of Mario. Then he decides to do a standing back take on Mario. He looks super duper fucking high, man, like super high up on Mario's back. I'm honestly thinking about it, like I'm surprised Mario wasn't able to wiggle him off, but mainly it was because Wes was setting up a Soloev stretch submission choke. Never heard of this submission. I mean, I have from Zabit, and I think it's been hit before in the UFC, but never really heard of the submission. Never seen it until now. Very brutal fucking submission from Wes Schultz. Mario Minyang, he taps on the gooch. Like that sounds so weird to say, but he taps on his gooch, bro. Like you could tell he was uncomfortable. His leg is getting like folded the opposite way. Just disgusting submission. Wes Schultz ends up getting the contract. Wes Schultz. Mainly picked him though too, because this is another rant that I'm going to get into, but that's going to be with the next fight. This is one of Mick Maynard's boys, and if I'm right, I'm not sure if I'm right. Mick Maynard has only had two fighters, if I'm right, two fighters that have won contracts. And if I'm right, I think both of them were females. I could be wrong though, because I'm pretty sure one of them were female, and I don't remember the other one. But I'm pretty sure Mick Maynard out of this whole season has only had two fucking fighters become UFC fighters. If I'm right, I don't even know. It could just be two UFC fighters or two Dana White Contender fighters that just won. Like, Mick Maynard, I don't know where he gets these fighters from, but they fucking suck, dude. Nothing against them. Mario didn't really look bad, but I mean, of course, you're looking at the output, there really wasn't much. Mario getting hurt. I mean, Wes had it in the bag, and he got it in the bag, fight's over. Moving on to the next fucking fight. Azamat Noltiaev versus Jovan Leka. You look at the output, like you're looking at it right now probably, and you're like, wow, like, there's a lot of strikes. Where is the damage? Where is the damage? Now listen, I'm gonna keep it real. Out of all the fights that I rewatched, I didn't care to rewatch this fight. Azamat, basically, it was like the first and second and third, if I'm right, he lands all takedowns. Leka, though, in the second and third mainly, is able to reverse. Just, this was just a ground control fight, and Leka just got more of the ground control. Terrible fight. Azamat's laying on the fucking ground after the first round. After he, mind you, wanted to wrestle. After Azamat wanted to wrestle Leka, he is tired. He didn't do anything, barely any damaging shots, no submission attempts, just, nah, man. Heavyweight, of course, looking back on my old Contender Series videos and stuff, I am saying that, and I still stand by this too, that these new guys that are coming into the heavyweight division, they are scary. But you get guys like these that, it's just an average heavyweight. You're not going to get anything special with these dudes. Leka looked like a fucking unit. And he will get absolutely destroyed by Tybura and pretty much any heavyweight that has any wrestling and can keep a heavyweight on the ground. Azamat, terrible gas tank. Both of them terrible gas tanks. No striking output at all. Dana was too sweet with not giving Leka the contract. He should have been way more honest, but of course, heavyweight being the shit division that it is, I mean, I guess you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Just really bad fight. I have nothing to say about this fight. Just awful fucking fight once again. Yeah, awful fight. And I'll say this now because I was going to say it after this, whenever I get my ratings and stuff. This was going to be a 10 out of 10 card if this fight never happened. If this fight never happened, if this was a regular five fight card, I wouldn't have gave a shit. Or I would have easily given this fight a 10 out of 10. But since this fight happened and I just couldn't give two fucks to watch it, I mean, that's going to hurt the rating. But hey. Moving on to the next fight, we have Michael Oliveira versus Victor Valenzuela. I had Michael Oliveira coming into this because, or winning this fight because, big, tall, welterweight. I mean, come on, man, versus Victor Valenzuela, who looks like an average welterweight, more of a lightweight than a welterweight. And it definitely showed. I mean, the size advantage in this fight was insane. Michael Oliveira, starting this round off, did really well, just popping that jab out, just, letting Victor know that, he's willing to throw, just really popping that jab out throughout the fight. Victor does well in using his inside leg kick. But Michael, obviously, in my opinion, had way, way more powerful leg kicks that I think he could have got Victor out of there in the first round with. Like, seriously, they were very nasty calf kicks, swinging Victor's leg up. There was a moment in the fight where they would come out, I'm really trying to think. Sorry about this. They get into exchanges. Victor manages to get a 2-3 on Michael, stumbling him back a little bit, but Michael's still in the fight. Not too damaging. Michael's still popping that jab out every now and then. Victor trying to counter that jab with a 3-2 or 2-3. Using that inside leg kick. He really doesn't use it as much as I feel like Victor should have, because every single time he used that inside leg kick, Oliveira was just very stunted. You could just tell that, he wasn't getting that jab out as much. And Victor did well in moving away, in certain situations, but still overall, I felt like Oliveira was just always there pressuring. First round, I mean, there's nothing really that happens. Valenzuela tries to go for a takedown. Oliveira denies it. Just, back and forth, nothing too significant coming out of that first round. Looking back on it, I think I have Oliveira winning it, though, mainly due to damage, but I could see Victor winning that first round, mainly because he did have that moment where Oliveira stumbled back and he was able to answer back with a I think it was a 3 overhand if I'm right near the end of the round. There was a couple more strikes that he was able to land on Michael Oliveira. Nothing too damaging though. I mean, seriously, Oliveira did not really get as damaged as I thought. Because these dudes were throwing. I mean, at 30 strikes, I really thought Victor was going for it, and I think it was more him going for it in the second round, I guess, because the first round he didn't really throw as much as the second round, where he got a lot more desperate. Where I guess his total strikes that he landed came from the first round than the second. So my bad. Let me rephrase that. Because once the second round starts, Oliveira starting to counter, getting that straight through, getting that lead left hook through. Victor trying for anything. His corner's begging him to get a takedown. He just doesn't want to shoot for it though. Victor, mainly this whole second round was Victor just trying to counter Oliveira's jab. But Oliveira countering right back. Victor tries to come in. He's badly, I'm going to say right now, Oliveira just starts landing that jab, starts getting that jab to the body, straight to the body, really starting to get comfortable in the fight. Looking like Pereira, I'm not going to lie, he really reminded me a lot of Prates and Pereira, the way he would just throw his 1-2, the way he would just, throw that calf kick, just very hard, heavy calf kick. Doesn't switch it up either, just keeps it very basic. Very dangerous guy. Oliveira comes in with a jab. Victor tries to counter it with a 2-3. Victor manages to get a 2-3-2, if I'm right, knocking Victor down really, really bad. Victor decides to scoot over to the cage. Don't really know why, but he gets in a guard position. Oliveira then engages with Victor's guard. Victor uses his butterfly hooks to push Oliveira off. Oliveira stands the fight back up. Victor gets back up, still trying to counter that fucking that jab once again, tries to counter it again with a lead hook. Oliveira throws his own lead hook, shutting off, or actually it wasn't even a lead hook. I think it was a right hook or a straight. I'm not really sure. It was a straight left hand or it was a left hook that hits Victor, shutting him off completely. Oliveira manages to land a 2 while Victor is coming down again. I don't think Oliveira engages this time. I think Victor does the same thing, scoots back up, tries to do the whole guard thing. Oliveira wants him to stand back up. Victor stands back up. They get back into it. Victor is still in the fight, still throwing. He's doing well, not really throwing that inside leg kick as much. Every now and then he does. And it's that him keeping that distance and really, in my opinion, utilizing that inside leg kick, I think could have won him. Maybe not the fight, but, as the rounds were later going on, I think if he got the takedowns and if he was using that leg kick, instead of just trying to counter Oliveira, I mean, it wasn't smart at all. Because Oliveira played it smart with being lengthy versus the next fight that we're going to get into with a lengthier fighter who, didn't really play it as smart with his size, but it was because he was younger. Oliveira did really well though. Commentator starts to mention that Victor is just not, he has no quit in him, and then Oliveira hears it, has enough, and decides to throw I think it was a straight right hand and a lead hook, dropping Victor again, really, really bad. Keith Peterson, where the fuck are you to stop this fucking fight? Oliveira, oh Jesus, my bad. Oliveira gets some ground and pound shots in, stopping the fight. Keith Peterson steps in. Oliveira does a fucking Yoel salute. Really scary guy. Really, really scary guy for real. And just a really insane performance. Victor, his face was absolutely mangled, both eyes swelling shut. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't even know if the fight would have went to a third round. It may have stopped in a doctor stoppage if it went to that third round. But Michael Oliveira, just super fucking nasty, powerful, just scary fucking fighter. Big future ahead of him. So I'd like to see what type of damage he can do in the welterweight division. And moving on to the next fight though, holy fucking shit, man. We have really almost fight of the year. I'm going to keep it real. I mean, you have last week's card with Martinetti and Volgadin, where people say it's one of the greatest fights. I think it's more of the greatest rounds. That second round was absolutely insane. Even that first round, the third round was a little bit more of adversity for them. They were kind of just gassed and not really, going through the motion in that fight. But this fight was pretty much the same exact fucking fight that happened last week, except in the first round. Marwan Rahiki versus Ananis Malumba. I had Malumba winning this mainly because of experience, Rahiki being 23 years old. Usually I'm always for the younger fighter, but I just think with Malumba, he had a 100% finish rate. If I'm sure he had 100 or 90, not really sure. Big finish rate on him though. That's why I went with him in this fight, and he almost got this fight done with. I mean, I honestly I have a lot of respect for Rahiki to take all that damage and then completely come back, turn around, and just get that amazing knockout. The fight starts with Rahiki really trying to pressure using that teep. Ananis already setting up that overhand. You can tell that he's just trying to get that KO, get this fight over with. He comes in with I think it was a lead overhand and then a rear overhand. Manages to get the lead overhand briefly on Rahiki, kind of brushes his face. Rahiki manages to counter with a right, a straight right. Then Rahiki starts to do his little leg kicks. He starts to feint with his teep, puts that knee up, comes in, putting his knee up, hands low. Malumba sees this, counters with an overhand right, dropping Rahiki really, really bad, like slamming him to the ground really bad. Rahiki covers up. Malumba's landing really good ground and pound shots. Rahiki does very, very well, though, in my opinion, of scrambling, getting away from the shots. Michael Chiesa was trying to make a point that, looking away from the shots isn't a good idea. And it's not, but I think when, Rahiki is trying to literally drag himself away from Malumba, I think it's not really that bad because he was able to get back up. I'm pretty sure though Malumba was able to get his back and get almost a rear naked choke, get the arm under the neck. Rahiki does well fighting the hands, getting back up though, still in this fucking fight. Malumba trying to get that overhand, of course. Rahiki's able to land they get in this little exchange against the fence where Malumba tries to go for a hook, Rahiki dips. Then he tries to throw his own hook. Malumbo dips as well. But then when he comes back up, Rahiki throws a 4-3-4, if I'm right. Landing, no, it was a 3-4-3, if I'm right, because he lands the lead hook right on the chin of Malumba, kind of stumbling him back. Malumba's still in the fight, very gassed out though, but Rahiki, nothing against the guy, just not playing it super duper smart, not keeping his hands up. Malumba is able to get another overhand, knocking Rahiki down really, really bad, which if I'm right, because sorry, I keep I think I'm forgetting that Rahiki did manage to get his knockdown of his own before Malumba was able to get that knockdown. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a knockdown, but, Rahiki gets against the cage. He's able to land another lead hook, a 3-4-3, right on the chin of Malumba. Malumba backs up, tries to answer back with a outside leg kick, if I'm right, and Rahiki answers with a 1-2, dropping Malumba, engaging in the guard. And then I think Rahiki just gets back up, and then Malumba is able to get that overhand again. Very powerful, hurting Rahiki again, dropping him to the ground. Malumba, I think, engages like there is no guard though. Rahiki does like a Valentina Shevchenko fucking cartwheel or whatever and gets back up. Once again, doing really, really good and recovering and staying well. Dana even said that Rahiki's probably never faced any type of adversity like this, and he probably hasn't. It makes a lot of sense. He took all that damage and was able to come back in that second round. Malumba, you could tell already through the end of the round, he's gassed. Rahiki starts throwing spinning shit. Malumba is able to get the back, take him to the ground briefly. Rahiki gets back up. Nothing too much really happens in the rest of the round. Rahiki just kind of lands some or tries to go for those flashy kicks, side kicks, hook kicks, spinning heel kick. Malumba just really trying to get that overhand through. Nothing really happens at the end of that first round. Second round starts back though. Rahiki does really, really well and just pressuring. Still not keeping his hands up though. It's the biggest problem for this dude. He's young as fuck. Looks up to Izzy. That's why I didn't really have him winning this fight, because I just, but the style's there. I mean, honestly, my bad. When this fight started the first round, Rahiki, he's able to get a counter right, then get a spinning back kick right on the face of Malumba. Really flashy guy for sure. Really good kickboxing. Second round starts though, like I said, Rahiki just pressuring, using that jab, using that teep. Honestly, I think I also forgot in the first round, Rahiki was able to get a spinning elbow. If I'm right, he was able to get a spinning back elbow on Malumba. I don't know if it was that first round. It may have been the second. I'm not really remembering, but he got a spinning back elbow, countering, I think it was, Malumba's lead hook, dips on Malumba's lead hook. Or I don't even think he dips. He just counters, goes for that spinning back elbow. Really nice. Super flashy dude, man. I mean, for real, Malumba, basically this whole round for him is just, him fading away. And that's really it. He's super gassed, just throwing that overhand, getting it through every now and then, maybe getting a hook through every now and then. But this was really just Rahiki, kind of recovering. And then once, the middle of that round, he lands a head kick, beginning of the end, really starts to let go. Malumba still trying to answer back with something though. Rahiki manages to get a teep, doubles it up, adds another teep to the body, throws a straight to Malumba's head or to chin. I want to say Malumba pushed back to the cage. Rahiki then Rahiki then frames with his lead hand, throwing elbows, very nasty elbows, by the way, throws 2 elbows. The second one gets through, rocking Malumba really bad, and then Rahiki ending the fight with a 6-3-6, hitting that beginning uppercut, that beginning rear uppercut, on the chin of Malumbo, just shutting him off, knocking him down. And ultimately finishing this fight. Rahiki absolutely goes insane. I don't blame him at all. Bunch of respect. Insane comeback fight. In my opinion, as crazy as it sounds, I think both of them deserved a contract. Malumba's coming back next season, which I'm actually happy for. I think he will be able to get a contract. Very scary guy. Just, kind of has to quit really winging those shots, kind of just hoping he'll get a KO and got to be a little bit more technical. I think that's what won Rahiki that fight because Michael Chiesa even said in the fight that Rahiki basically did a mutual agreement to just, stand and bang with Malumba. But then once Rahiki actually started to use his size and advantage, kind of like what Oliveira did to win this fight, it just was all in his favor because, Malumba, this is a featherweight fight, but Malumba, in my opinion, could probably be a bantamweight, big fucking featherweight. But hey, great fucking fight. Seriously, amazing fucking fight. 2 back-to-back KOs that were just insane fights, heavy pace. And yeah, moving on to the next fight though, we got Kwawan. I guess I call him the second. I mean, or Il. That's an I. My bad. I was like the second. What the fuck? Kwawan Il versus Juan Diaz. This fight, now I'm not gonna lie. You have the 2 fights that. The 2 previous fights that, I would say in my opinion were pretty hard, pretty damaging, especially on both ends. In this fight, in my opinion, you have 2 dudes that are kind of just going back and forth. There was a moment where Juan Diaz, actually, before we get into this, I had Quan Wan winning mainly because he was 5'10" bantamweight. Insane seeing the size. I like taller fighters. That's just how it is. That's why I pick them. And of course, he was in 1 as well. I think he was a Muay Thai fighter though. Well, I guess not because he has a professional record. Not a crazy good one, but Juan Diaz, basically, in my opinion, there was just a lot of back and forth between the jab, Quan trying to get that lead hook in, Juan, shit, I keep getting him fucking mixed up. I'm going to call this dude on the left Juan, and I'm going to call this dude on the right Diaz because I'm just fucking getting him mixed up. Diaz does well using his 1-2. There was a moment in the first round where he got a 3-2 on Juan, countering his, I think it was Juan's like jab, because Quan, Jesus fuck, dude, it's such a tongue twister. Quan was really using his jab and left hook throughout the whole entire fight. I don't know if he's really setting up anything, but just really using it every single chance that he got, not really mixing it up. It was more Diaz who was mixing it up, using that 1-2, popping that jab out a lot. I think there was a couple low kicks, if I'm right. Nothing too significant, though, from, both of them. Nothing too crazy. Diaz manages to, throughout the fight, he manages to get a, did he go for a takedown? He went for a takedown later, but he does manage to get a body lock on Quan, wrap around, get his back, jumps on the back of Juan, or Quan, gets his back. Nothing too crazy, though. I think Quan does pretty well in defending and getting back up. Once again, this fight, it's just nothing too crazy significant happens in the first round. Just a lot of back and forth. I think Quan was able to get a inside a lead uppercut on Diaz in the end of the round. Really not much, seriously, throughout the first round. Just a lot of back and forth. Pretty much same thing happens in that second round. A lot of back and forth coming between the two. Juan really trying to get that lead hook through, that lead left hook. Getting it through every now and then, starting to change up his strikes with a 2-3. 2 to the body, 3 to the head, or 3 to the body, 2 to the head. Diaz, once again, just staying in the pocket, doing well, keeping that jab, popping that jab every now and then, getting straight to Quan. Getting that takedown. There was a moment where he was able to get the takedown. I didn't even mention in the Rahiki fight. Rahiki almost got a ninja choke. My bad. It wasn't anything crazy though. Rahiki got back up. But there was a moment where Diaz tried to go for a takedown. Quan fucking fence grabs very blatantly. Keith Peterson doesn't do shit. But, you know, basically what happens in this fight is Quan pressure, gets the lead hook, gets the straight, gets the jab. Diaz answering back, exchanging. Quan tries to go for that lead hook, overextends. Diaz dips his head, counters with a spinning back elbow. Fucking brutal. One of the loudest fucking knockouts I've ever heard. Like, seriously. Completely shutting down Quan and stopping the fight. Just insane fucking KO. 2 seconds left in the round. I didn't even remember how, like, late it happened in the round. I thought it was like a minute in when he gets the spinning elbow. No, he gets it literally right when that fucking bell, you know, or right when the 10-second warning goes off. Quan, you know, starts to pressure, and Diaz, I mean, the spinning back elbow, man, I need some water, but the spinning back elbow is fucking brutal. One of the best fucking weapons in the UFC right now, and I hope that it just keeps going from here because what a fucking knockout from Juan Diaz. And yeah, just really good performance. He got the contract as well. Just fucking epic, man. Moving on to the next fight, though. I mean, I don't even want to say anything about Freddie Vidal. I'm not a fan of him. I don't know why Dana gave him another chance. I will never understand why Dana gave this guy another chance when he easily had one of the worst performances in the Contender series. Without a doubt, it may have been a finish. Horrible finish. Don't give a fuck. I'm guessing it's because of the end of the round, like the end of the fight. So, cool comeback fight for Vidal. I don't fucking know. Basically, Vidal just tries to go for a double leg, then switches it to a single leg, then tries to go for a body lock, just trying to get a takedown on Rodriguez. Rodriguez does very well in defending. Couple ground and pound punches, whatever. Rodriguez, or not ground and pound, couple cage clinch punches. Rodriguez manages to break, lands a lead hook. Didn't look like it hurt Vidal, but it did. I know they only count one knockdown, but I mean, Vidal did go down. I guess it wasn't. He just kind of like tripped or whatever. Rodriguez starts landing some really solid ground and pound shots. Vidal starts to get back up, manages to get back up. Rodriguez lands a left hook, or a lead left hook again, dropping Vidal. Vidal still working his way back up, trying to get that, takedown. He's really just working for that takedown, then gets another, you know, try to cage clinch, get another body lock. Rodriguez has enough. He frames off of Vidal, not really frames, but gets an overhook and gets his left hook, on the neck of Vidal. I don't remember what the clinch is called. I guess I call it a Muay Thai clinch. I don't know. It's a UFC 5 clinch. You know what I'm saying? When they fucking, you know what I'm saying? Rodriguez does that, and he throws the knees to the head. He throws about 2 of them, if I'm right, dropping Vidal, then some ground and pound shots. Mark Smith comes in, stops the fight. Epic. That's all I gotta say. Pretty much just epic. Thank God this fight ended in 1 round because I really thought we were gonna have a another decision fight on our fucking hands, which I just, with Vidal, like, just a boring decision fight. That's really it. Everyone got a contract except Leka. I had Rodriguez winning this fight because I don't like Freddie Vidal. Nothing against the guy. Just, you need to train more. He's just not that good. You got Aljo on fucking Twitter being heartbroken and stuff. It's like, dude, he's just not that good of a fighter. It would have been cool to see him in the UFC, but he's got to train more, Aljo. You got to teach that boy to quit just shooting fucking takedowns every single second. But anyways, how I really feel about this card, and really just how I feel about this whole season, was it was almost perfect. It was an amazing season with amazing finishes. Every single fight, even the boring ones, I mean, they just brought something. I don't really care if they were boring. I just hate them. That's it. But still, every fight, it brought some sort of entertainment. Not the boring ones, but still, I think, you know, to have a perfect card, not everything is going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to give the season a rating because I don't know what to rate it overall, but I will give this card a rating, and I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Really good finishes, really solid prospects, amazing submission that I've never seen in my life. Really good counter KO from Oliveira, really good elbow, and then an uppercut from Rahiki. Amazing comeback fight. It's absolutely nasty spinning, probably the best spinning elbow this year, and I stand by that. The best spinning elbow knockout this year from Juan Diaz, and then you get a a what's gonna call it, knee to the head TKO fight. You know, just really good. I'm glad everyone got a contract besides the heavyweights that didn't do shit. I thought this was really cool. I guess real quick before I end this, you know, you got the announcements before with Marab, Jan, Pantoja, Van, Talbot, Cejudo, Jan, Guskov. I guess I could just go through those really quick. I have Marab, of course, one-sided domination. I think he's going to destroy Jan. Of course, Jan already thrown those excuses of being injured, not using his right hand, which is a fine excuse. It's a reasonable excuse. I think it's going to be the same outcome. Marab is going to destroy Jan. Pantoja versus Van. I love Joshua Van. I'm going to be biased. I don't think he wins this fight, but since I'm going to be delusional, I have Van winning by a standing TKO. Even though I don't think he's going to TKO Pantoja a lot, I think he could surprise Pantoja in the grappling. But overall, I think Pantoja's. Excuse me, but I think Pantoja is probably going to win. I still have Van though. Don't give a fuck. Van standing TKO. Third, fourth round. I don't give a fuck. That's what I go with. Peyton or Talbot versus Cejudo. I have Cejudo. Amazing comeback fight for him. Easy comeback fight. The fact that I saw someone say that Talbot was going to finish Cejudo when he couldn't even finish Felipe Lima is blasphemy. Is just a joke. Peyton Talbot has to be one of the most overrated fighters ever, if that's what you're really thinking. At least when it comes to the bantamweight division, I think Cejudo is going to win. He stood his own against Song Yadong, even though he lost via eye poke. Still, though, got Cejudo. I probably have him in decision. Cejudo's old. Hopefully, it's a retirement fight, especially if he fucking loses, because God, Cejudo, you have completely diminished your legacy and your career as a UFC fighter. Nothing against the guy, but shit, man. And then you got Jan versus Guskov. People were trying to say that Jan, I guess it was more because Guru, I was watching his video, and he was trying to say that Jan's probably one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC. Yes, he is, but he's also coming off a hip injury or a hip surgery that, you know, he was gone for 2 years. Got into that fight with Olberg, which, yeah, I guess you could say that, you know, Jan could have won that fight. But I saw Jan as a very old and out of prime man. And I just see Guskov as a scary contender coming into the light heavyweight division. And I think he's going to knock out Jan. As crazy as it is, I mean, at some point your lights got to go out. I don't know if Jan's ever been knocked out. I don't think he has been. I mean, yeah, I do respect him because he didn't get knocked out by Pereira. I mean, when he's going against these scary knockout artist guys, you know, Olberg, he doesn't get knocked out. So I can see him winning this fight if it goes the distance. But I don't know. Guskov is scary. Once again, not trying to overrate him though, but I could see Guskov maybe getting like a first round, like seriously, just because Jan is just slow, man. Slow, old. He just didn't really look like himself in that Olberg fight. But overall, man, I'm gonna keep it real. I love the UFC. I love the Contender series. I wish they did this shit more, man, for real. One early in the year, and then, you know, the second season coming later in the year. You know, my rating 8 out of 10. Honestly, my season, how I felt, I'm gonna give it a 9. I thought every card was great. Even the season one or week 1 is the only one that holds it back for this season, but really just awesome card. I'm glad we have the Dana White Contender series. It sucks that this shit ended, but I promise that I'll be back next year ready to review all of them. And now this weekend we have Allen versus RDR. I have RDR winning. Don't know why Allen is taking the fight, but hey, we're gonna get a goofy ass fight. I know it's short notice, but I just feel like Allen RDR, it's such a just pointless fight. Give Izzy RDR. Like, can we have a significant fucking main event for RDR? Like, seriously. He had it with Robert Whitaker, but, you know, I want an actual threat with RDR. Like, I know nothing against Whitaker, but Whitaker just being the undersized middleweight, I mean, and you could see it going either way. I just feel like, once again, that undersized middleweight, I want to see RDR actually fight a huge middleweight, which I guess Brennan Allen will be the case, but I much rather would have, you know, wanted Fluffy, you know, RDR versus Fluffy. I had Fluffy winning. I love RDR. I love Fluffy, but I'm more of a Fluffy fan. Anyways, I'm going to quit yapping, though. Let me know what you guys thought about the Contender series, about the season, about this week. If you guys thought it was peak, if you didn't. I hope you guys have a good rest of y'all's day. And, yeah, I'll see you.